Happy Sunday, everybody. Nobody seems to be doing any reporting on this, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on out there. The U.S.-led coalition aircraft strike Syrian army positions, kill 62 soldiers, military. This is off of RT.com. U.S.-led coalition jets have bombed Syrian government forces positions near eastern city Deir ez-Zor, killing 62 troops and paving the way for Islamic State militants, the Syrian Army General Command told. The bombing took place on Al-Thada Mountain in the region of Deir ez-Zor and caused casualties and destruction on the ground. Syria's official SANA news agency reported on Saturday. 62 Syrian soldiers were killed and over 100 injured in the airstrike by the U.S.-led coalition, Russia's defense ministry spokesman, Major General Igor Koshnikov, said, citing information received from Syrian General Command. The Russian Defense Ministry said that the aircraft which carried out the bombings had entered Syrian airspace from the territory of Iraq. 4 strikes against Syrian positions was performed by 2 F-16 jet fighters and 2 A-10 support aircraft, it added. If the airstrike was caused by the wrong coordinates of targets, then it's a direct consequence of the stubborn unwillingness of the American side to coordinate with Russia in its actions against terrorist groups in Syria, Koshnikov stressed. The Defense Ministry also confirmed a report by SANA that an Islamic State offensive began right after Syrian army positions were hit from the aircraft. Immediately after the airstrike by coalition planes, Islamic State militants launched their offensive. Fierce fighting with the terrorists is currently underway in the area of the airport, where for a long time humanitarian aid for civilians was parachuted, Kanashkanov said. The Syrian General Command has called the bombing a serious and blatant aggression against Syrian forces and said it was conclusive evidence that the U.S. and its allies support its militants. According to a news release of the U.S. Department of Defense, the coalition aviation performed combat mission in Deir ez-Zor on Saturday. We are aware of the reports and checking with CENTCOM and CITF, which is Combined Joint Task Force, the Pentagon told RT. The U.S. Central Command later has issued a statement saying that it had no intention of targeting Syrian government forces near Deir ez-Zor. Is a complex situation with various military forces and militias in close proximity, but the coalition would not intentionally strike a known Syrian military unit, the statement read. CENTCOM promised that the strike and circumstances surrounding it will be reviewed to see if any lesson can be learned. An unnamed U.S. military official told Reuters that he was pretty sure that the targets hit the U.S.-led coalition airstrike on Saturday had been Syrian forces. According to the official, the bombings in Deir ez-Zor were carried out using U.S. intelligence, which was being gathered for days. The U.S. attack stopped as soon as Russia notified the American side that they had been hitting the Syrian military, he added. Earlier on Saturday, Russia accused the U.S. of being reluctant to take measures to force rebels under its control to fall in line with the terms of Syrian ceasefire. Numerous Russian appeals to the American side remain unanswered, which raises doubts over the U.S.'s ability to influence opposition groups under their control and their willingness to further ensure implementation of the Geneva Agreements. Senior Russian General Staff official Viktor Ponzahur said. Ponzahur also said that the truce is being used by the militants to regroup, resupply, and prepare an offensive against government troops. Last week, Moscow and Washington agreed to influence the Syrian government and the so-called moderate rebel forces, respectively, in order to establish a ceasefire in the country. Since then, Russia has repeatedly complained that U.S. is failing to keep its part of the bargain. The U.S., on its part, has blamed Russia for not pressuring Damascus enough to facilitate humanitarian access to Syria. Neither a mistake nor a deliberate strike can be ruled out, Kamal Alam from the Royal United Service Institute told RT when asked to comment on the incident. There's a possibility that it's a genuine mistake and the American in going in after IS have gone after the Syrian military because Deir ez-Zor city is under the Syrian Arab Army, but the rest of the districts are all under IS, he said. But it's a lot more dangerous if the U.S. had been attacking Syrian military to make the moderates happy, Alam stressed, recalling recent reports of militants chasing the American Special Forces, which Washington interpreted as a sign of diminished support from the Syrian opposition. So there's some pretty serious information going on. And again, it's a U.S.-led coalition aircraft strike. Syrian army positions kill 62 soldiers. And this is off of RT.com news.